Nobody wakes up and decides to manipulate the person they love. And yet, it happens every day in ordinary relationships between good people without a single conscious intention. The question isn't whether someone is doing it to you. The question is, are you doing it too and simply don't know it yet? Most relationship damage isn't caused by cruelty. It's caused by patterns, learned early, carried quietly, deployed automatically. Psychology calls these unconscious defensive behaviors. They aren't calculated. They're protective, remnants of survival strategies from childhood environments where direct communication felt dangerous, unsafe, or simply never modeled. And so, the nervous system learned to get needs met indirectly, to pull away, to create pursuit, to go silent to provoke attention, to test loyalty instead of asking for reassurance. Not manipulation in the clinical sense, but patterns that function exactly like it. Seeing yourself in this is not a condemnation. It is an act of extraordinary honesty. Most people go entire lifetimes running these patterns, and calling them personality, recognizing them, is the first and rarest form of change. The brain doesn't distinguish between emotional danger and physical danger. When attachment feels threatened, when love feels uncertain, withdrawing, or conditional, the amygdala fires, and the behaviors that follow are not chosen. They are retrieved. Old programs running on new people. This is what psychologists call schema activation, early relational templates, quietly directing adult behavior. From below the level of awareness, you aren't broken. You are running code that was written before you were old enough to write your own. Here are 5 patterns, not to judge yourself or others, but to see clearly. 1. Emotional withdrawal as leverage, going cold or distant, not because you need space, but because distance reliably brings the other person closer. The psychology, anxious attachment triggers, avoidant behavior as control. 2. The loyalty test, creating situations, consciously or not, to see if the other person will choose you. The psychology, hypervigilant attachment systems, seek proof of security they cannot simply ask for. 3. Withholding approval, giving warmth selectively, not out of genuine feeling, but as a tool to regulate the other person's behavior. The psychology, intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism that drives addiction, creates compulsive attachment in the other person. 4. Emotional flooding as exit, escalating a disagreement until the conversation collapses, not to resolve anything, but to avoid the vulnerable truth underneath it. The psychology, the brain, chooses overwhelm over exposure. 5. Rewriting history, subtly reframing past events in arguments, not to deceive, but because memory is genuinely reconstructive. The psychology, the brain edits memory to protect self-concept. This is called motivated reasoning. The simple mental model. Every mind game in a relationship is a need in disguise, not a character flaw. A need for security, for proof, for closeness that never learned how to speak plainly. The most courageous thing 2 people can do is slowly learn to ask for what they need directly, without testing, without withdrawing, without running the old programs. It takes longer than a game, but it builds something a game never could. Want to understand relationships for real? Hit subscribe or stay confused.